We're on the debut of Raw on Netflix, and we kick off the show in arguably the best way possible. Cena is here, and the retirement tour starts with a promo. Ladies and gentlemen and everything in between, welcome to the premiere episode of Monday Night Raw. And on top of that, welcome to the very beginning of the John Cena retirement tour. Now firstly, let's address what I want to achieve during this. Well, of course, I want to win the Rumble and become a 17-time WWE champion, and I'll hopefully achieve that through winning the Royal Rumble. But there's something else I want to do, and that's to become a Grand Slam champion. And I think you all know what that means. Braun Breaker, just know I'm coming for you and your Intercontinental Championship. Whether you're the champ when I come around to the Intercontinental title is an entirely different... Ladies and gentlemen, I demand all your gratitude for your future Intercontinental Champion, Ludwig Kaiser. Oh, John, do you honestly think you have it in you to win firstly against the World Heavyweight Champion, the Ring General Gunther, but Braun Breaker? When everyone knows it should be me after I got robbed out of my rightful championship. And John responds, "Fine speech, Mr. Kaiser, but I have a few issues with what you just said. 1. You just said you got robbed in your title match when you didn't. You lost fair and square. And second of all, how about you come down here and we can find out if you really are just a bootleg ass-kicking Ring General assistant." John Cena lays down the challenge, and Ludwig accepts. He wants to fight, and with it being officially sanctioned, the match is on. And Ludwig is proving himself to be an equal to Cena, as in large sections of the match, he's managing to outmaneuver Big Match John. But one thing Cena does is never give up, as he starts his comeback and the 5 moves of doom. And with a 5-knuckle shuffle, Cena calls for Ludwig to get up, as he looks for an AA, but he gets out of dodge and rolls him up. 1, 2, no! Cena stays in the match, but as both men get to their feet, Ludwig manages to catch John and plant him with a fancy DDT. Is the John Cena retirement tour going to kick off on the wrong foot? No! Cena kicks out. Ludwig is beside himself, but Cena gets up, so he looks for a strike, but John counters, then he manages to lock in an STF. Will Ludwig tap? Well, before we find out, the World Heavyweight Champion comes out and just watches the action unfold. And with the Ring General observing, Ludwig fights deep down to get out of the submission, but it may have been futile, as with both men getting up, John connects the AA. The retirement tour starts off on the right foot, but the next step could be to become the 17-time WWE Champion. John put my name in the hat for his crappy little retirement tour, so I just thought I'd send him a little message last week. But seeing as you offered a challenge, let me give you one. You versus me, Saturday night's main event for my Intercontinental Championship. And if you accept my gracious offer, the stipulation is that when you lose, you can never challenge for the Intercontinental Championship ever again. So what's it gonna be, huh, John?
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
It's not Cena who comes out, but it's Cody Rhodes, and he's rushing to defend Big Match John, who's supposedly not in the building, although that isn't really the case, which we find out in the main event, as with Braun dismantling Cody with a chair. Here he comes, he runs off Braun, then he helps Cody up. The face of the company now is facing off against the former face of the company, but things get even more wilder, as Cena says. Firstly, Braun, the challenge you gave me earlier in the night, Well, I accept. In 2 weeks' time, I will attempt to become Grand Slam champion, and next week, Cody, it's gonna be you against me. I know how much you want that, and after you stood up for me, you got it. It's an absolute bombshell dropped by the leader of the C Nation, as it's one of the biggest matches in Raw history. But can the past beat the present, or will the present solidify its place at the top of the mountain? Well, with Braun Breaker being barred from ringside, the match is on, and although there's no hatred between the two men, they bring it. They both do whatever it takes to pick up the win. Cody even manages to connect a Cody Cutter, but that doesn't put Cena away. John even responds later in the match with an AA, but that doesn't put the American Nightmare away either. Neither man will wield, but regardless, we're deep into the match, and both men just start trading strikes. They have nothing left, although Cody manages to duck and connect across Rhodes. Cody's done it! He's beaten the leader of the C Nation! Although it's nothing but love between the two men after the match, it's seemingly a passing of the torch between the two stars, although a definitive future star wants to make an impact as he wipes out both men with spears, and the show closes with Braun Breaker standing tall over John Cena. But will this be the case at Saturday night's main event? Well, we're in the main event, and it's time for the Intercontinental Championship to be defended. Who will win? Can John become a Grand Slam champion, or will Braun Breaker crush his dreams? Well, the match is on, and Braun immediately looks for a spear, although John manages to counter. Then he looks for an attitude adjustment, but Braun counters too, and with Cena momentarily dazed through stiff strikes, Braun seizes the opportunity to hurl John out the ring, then looks to spear him, but John moves out of harm's way with Braun crashing onto the floor. This is Cena's chance, and he takes it with stride as he hurls him into the steps and the barricade before putting him into the ring. Then he looks for his signature 5-knuckle shuffle, but Braun counters with a vicious kick before taking him down. Then Braun starts to dominate. He uses big-time power moves in an attempt to put John down, but he won't stay down for the free, so Braun lines him up. He wants to hit the spear, but once again Cena manages to avoid a devastating move, and following this, he locks in the STF. Will Braun tap? Well, he fights out of it. He has gas left in the tank, and he uses the gas to launch Cena to the outside. Then he starts to run. He's looking for a spear onto the outside, but John once again dodges, which ends up with Braun crashing into the ring post. And on top of that, he's gushing blood, so Cena takes advantage as he puts the champ into the ring and nails an AA, but he knows he needs more. So he unbelievably deadlifts Braun back up for another and connects it. Is Braun done? No! The champ stays alive, but for how much longer? As Cena immediately locks in another STF to follow suit. Braun is done, and Cena knows it as he amplifies the pressure more and more until the referee calls for the bell. Cena has done it. He is now a Grand Slam champion. It's a fantastic start to the retirement tour. But what's next? Well, his new focus is not only to win the Royal Rumble, but to elevate the Intercontinental Championship at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to business. This Saturday, I will be competing in my final Royal Rumble match, and I know I need to prepare, and I thought what better way to do that than to fight. And with this beauty in my hand, let's do an open challenge. If you want some, come get some. Karrion Kross answers the challenge. Doomsday has arrived. But can the Prophet become God? We're at the Royal Rumble and Cena is banged up, but thankfully he's drawn a later entry, and although he's hurt, he's fighting with everything he's got. But his everything isn't enough, as Chad Gable is on the verge of eliminating him until... John survives, and it's all thanks to the Wyatt Six. John is visibly shaken, but he fights on regardless, and he eventually makes it down to the final three. It's him, it's Chad, and it's Randy. although 3 becomes 2 very quickly as Chad Gable manages to eliminate Randy from the match. It's a shocking elimination, and the shock could increase as Gable looks to once again eliminate John Cena, but this time Cena hangs on by himself, and then he fires up. He starts the 5 moves of doom, the crowd are on their feet, and with the 5-knuckle shuffle and the subsequent AA, Cena does it. He wins his 3rd Royal Rumble. He's going to WrestleMania. But who will he choose? Which championship will he go for? Well, on the following night, before we get an answer to that question, John gives one of his own. Oh, why? I get why you'd hurt and attack me, but why did you help me survive in the Rumble and help me win? John lays out the question, and he gets an answer. You know, John, I had the same question. Why would I help you to hurt, then heal you? The one thing you have to my brother was a lifeline of 1 year. But that shouldn't have been the case at all, John. At WrestleMania 30, my brother, Bray Wyatt, lost to you. His biggest match ever up until that point, and you couldn't even give him the rub. But I guess you pushed for that, didn't you, John? You decided to ruin my family's legacy for 6 years before you attempted to give back. But by then, it was too late, wasn't it? All because your ego couldn't handle losing. Because he never truly recovered the height of his career until he got lost in the woods, was squandered by you. That's why we're here, John. For one final dance. For revenge. Elimination Chamber, John. Almost 11 years since you wronged him. We make it right. Not for the gold, but for Bray. Bo Dallas has sent his message loud and clear, and after this beatdown, it's made official. John Cena versus Uncle Howdy at the Elimination Chamber. But before then, John gives a speech to a fallen angel. Bray, if you could hear me, Bo, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Bray, you did deserve the world at WrestleMania 30, and I gave you the worst cards possible, and when I realized my mistake, you were already lost in the woods, like Bo said. Bo was right. He deserves a chance at revenge. For what I did, I get it. But that doesn't mean I won't stop fighting, because you deserve me at my best. You deserve a rightful chance to make the mistakes right, or as right as it can get. John speaks his truth, but that's not all. Whilst I can't change the past, I can shape the future. With this championship in hand, and with my world title opportunity in sight, I have the keys to unlock Pandora's box. But I think it's now time to reveal who I will face at WrestleMania. Ah, John, we all know it's me, so let's stop pretending it's not, and stop focusing on them freaks who can't get over stuff that happened 11 years ago, and focus on the mat. Not just me at Mania, but that Intercontinental Championship, because I made that championship what it is today, and I will not have it be disrespected by a pompous twat like yourself. So defend it. Defend your legacy, John. Do it. Well, I guess you did just make my choice a whole lot easier. And John strikes Gunther! The brawl is on! But it quickly gets interrupted by Adam Pearce, who says, "Enough, you two! John is supposed to defend the Intercontinental Championship right now, and that will stand. So if you really want him to fight and defend his honor, Gunther, leave now." And Gunther does. He backs off. But who is John facing? While answering the challenge is none other than Dominic Mysterio, and Dom is bringing his A-game. He's desperate for gold, but John is blinded by rage. He's a complete animal in the ropes, and after a 10-minute sprint, Cena locks in the STF, which makes Dom tap. Cena retains, but he isn't done yet. You want me to respect this championship, Gunther, huh? Well, fine. I'm not done. If you want some, come get some. It's a huge challenge by John, and this second challenge is answered by Braun Breaker. Cena may have bitten off more than he can chew, but regardless, the match is on, although not a singular strike is thrown until the Wyatts appear. John is caught off guard, and that's all it takes for Braun to nail a spear, which almost breaks him in half. Braun has reclaimed the Intercontinental Championship, and John has a big Wyatt issue he needs to contend with before he can refocus on capturing number 17. It's time for the big time grudge match. Can Uncle Howdy get revenge for his fallen family? Or will John rise above hate? While the match is on, and Cena instantly looks for an AA, but Howdy gets out of it and immediately connects his sister Abigail. John is out, but Uncle Howdy wants to make Cena suffer as he nails another. Then he hurls Cena to the outside before smashing him into the barricade and the ring post, along with slamming him into the hardest part of the ring. And with the damage seemingly done, he puts Cena back into the ring, but he doesn't go into the cover. He just waits for Big Match John to get up before nailing him with his own version of the AA. Yet he doesn't go into the pin, although as he picks him up, Cena nails a desperate AA out of nowhere. Then with an arm draped on Howdy, Cena looks to end this nightmare. 1, 2, no. Howdy stays in the match, and even though he just received the finishing blow, Howdy is up first. Cena is broken, and after a hellacious battle with Cena up, Howdy says, "I finally forgive you for your sins, John. Now accept your fate." And as soon as he says this, he nails another sister Abigail. Cena has lost, Howdy has won, but Cena accepts this, acknowledging Howdy before walking away, although that isn't the last combat he's involved in for the night. John, you really are pathetic. Not only do you lose your Intercontinental title after not even holding it for a month, but you lose to that freak Bo Dallas in a gimp mask? I don't think you're ready, John. You aren't ready to face me at WrestleMania. So I pulled a few strings, and I've got you a gauntlet match in the main event. Don't worry, I don't need your thanks or approval, but what I do need is to see you at the best of your capabilities. That way everyone will know the fraud that will never be World Heavyweight Champion for a 17th time, John Cena. Gunther has used his power as champion to stack the deck against John, but backstage, John seems happy about it. He even pisses out Pierce and says it's a good test for him before the biggest show of the year. But who will he have to face? Well, up first is a man Cena has wronged in the past. It's a rematch from 2011, and before the match begins, John says, "You're another man I've wronged in the past, Ray. I'm sorry again. Good luck. You should have had a longer reign as WWE Champion." And Ray replies, "No worries, John. Good luck to you too." It's a friendly exchange between the two legends, and as soon as the bell rings, both men leave it all in the ring. Ray has the speed and agility, but Cena has the strength, and that drives him forward throughout the first match as he manages to catch Ray, then plant him with an AA. Cena passes the first test, but who's next? Well, it's none other than JD McDonough, and it's a similar tale to the previous fight, although due to Cena's endurance being tested, JD can take control of larger sections of the contest, but Cena just won't quit. He kicks out of everything thrown at him, and as per tradition, he begins his comeback. He hits all of his classic moves, and with another AA, John advances to his final challenge. It's yet another demon from Cena's past. in an almost literal way as well, as his last opponent is a man he has never beaten, and Finn Balor immediately nails a shotgun dropkick onto the worn down John. Then he climbs to the top rope, but he can't connect the subsequent coup de grace as Big Match John moves out of harm's way, then sends Balor out the ring. But as the referee checks on the Prince, JD McDonough looks for a dastardly low blow, but it gets countered by Cena, who nails a second AA onto McDonough. But that's all the time Balor needed, as he slides back into the ring, although he gets distracted by Damian Priest, which allows John to roll him up. 1, 2, 3! Cena steals the win, and Balor is furious, but he takes his anger out on Damian Priest as they brawl to the back, which leaves John in the ring all alone until the champ is here, and he observes the beaten and battered John, although the leader of the C Nation wants to fight, and Gunther gives John what he wants, but not tonight. Next week, find yourself a tag team partner, and then you'll get me and Ludwig Kaiser in a tag match. It's a big way to close the show. Next week's main event is set, but who will John Cena team with? Well, throughout the night, every time Cena talks to a fellow wrestler about the main event, they get blindsided by Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther. And by the time the main event rolls around, no one knows if John Cena has a tag team partner, although it turns out he has. R-Truth has answered the call. Everyone loves this. Even Gunther and Ludwig can't help but to chuckle. But as the match begins, it's looking like John and Gunther are going to start. However, Truth tags himself in. He wants to keep Cena safe and secure for WrestleMania, although he pays for this decision dearly, as Gunther completely obliterates Truth. He and Ludwig systematically dismantle the future Hall of Famer. Cena is begging for a tag, and eventually he gets one as Truth manages to duck Kaiser's attack before making the tag to Big Match John, and it's a classic Cena comeback. He hits all of his signature moves, and with an AA onto Ludwig, he looks to go into the cover, but Gunther drags him out the ring before nailing him with a powerbomb onto the announcer's table. And if that wasn't bad enough, Gunther redecorates the table, then puts John through it with another powerbomb. John is done. Imperium has won via a count out, and the show goes off the air with the World Heavyweight Champion standing tall. And now all that's left is to go home Raw before the biggest show of the year, and it's time for the contract signing. And with Adam Pearce moderating over the tense affair, Gunther breaks the ice. You know what, John? You really have impressed me in recent weeks. You've impressed me with how terrible you are. Honestly, just because you can beat Finn Balor, his god-awful apprentice, and an old has-been in one night doesn't mean you stand any chance at beating me. All you know is the 5 moves of doom, and at WrestleMania, I will prove to everyone the fraud that is John Cena. And with that, Gunther signs the contract, but how will John Cena respond? You know, I faced a lot of people like you before, Gunther. People like Umaga. People like the Great Khali, and guess what? I put them down in my Super Cena days, and on Saturday, that'll be no different, because unlike you, I have the fans behind my back, because unlike you, I actually have drawing power, because unlike you, a lot of people recognize me as the greatest of all time. Cena signs the contract, but as he does this, Gunther picks up the table and hurls it at John before planting him with a powerbomb. Is this a sign of things to come, or can John officially become the greatest WWE superstar of all time? The match is on, and both men stare holes through each other. Who will hit the first strike? Well, it's Gunther. He attempts to chop, but John counters. Then he manages to send the ring out the ring before he climbs to the top rope. He's gonna dive onto him, but Gunther unbelievably catches John Cena before planting him onto the hardest part of the ring. Cena is writhing around in pain, but Gunther doesn't care as he puts John back into the ring before connecting a devastating German suplex, and Gunther mouths off, "Suplex City time, you stupid dumbass." And he stays true to his word as he connects another German suplex, but John gets back up, so Gunther looks for a third. However, John counters, then he connects a springboard stunner out of nowhere. Gunther is rocked, and Cena takes advantage as he manages to lock in an STF. Will Gunther tap? Well, after a slight struggle, he gets out of it. Then with both men getting to their feet, Gunther manages to nail a lariat which sends John to the outside. And from here, Gunther goes for the kill. He powerbombs John onto the barricade and onto the ring post. Then he puts him back into the ring and just demands for him to get up. And John, out of stubbornness or out of endurance, does. He fires up, and with Gunther missing a chop, Cena starts his comeback. The 5 moves of doom are on, and he runs back all the classic hits, including the 5-knuckle shuffle. Then he calls for Gunther to get up. He wants the AA, but as John picks him up, his back gives out. The punishment by the ring general is too much for John. Then Gunther connects a powerbomb. Is Cena done? 1, 2, no! Cena survives, but Gunther doesn't care as he looks for another powerbomb, but John counters. Then with all the strength he can muster, he lifts Gunther up and plants him with an AA, but he has nothing left. So just like at the Elimination Chamber, all he can do is drape an arm over his opponent, and just like Uncle Howdy, Gunther kicks out. So again, he calls for Gunther to get up. He's subsiding the pain to finish his story just like Cody Rhodes did last year. But Gunther gets out of it, and with a series of strikes, Gunther takes him down with an absolutely hellacious chop. Then he locks in a half Boston Crab. He wants John to give up, but that isn't in Cena's DNA. So he gets out of it, although he immediately gets put back down with yet another lariat. Then Gunther climbs to the top rope and connects a splash. And to complete the trifecta, Gunther connects another powerbomb. 1, 2, no! John won't quit, and Gunther's starting to get more frustrated, so he hits another powerbomb, and another, until finally, with one hand, he goes into the final cover of the match. How the hell is John still going? No one knows, including Gunther, who out of sheer desperation just starts laying shots in a big match John until he draws blood. Then he goes back to a half Boston Crab. Cena has nothing left, and in a similar fashion to Brett vs Austin at WrestleMania 13, John passes out. Gunther has won! He has defeated John Cena at the biggest show of the year! It's a cold beginning to WrestleMania, and it could be an omen of things to come. But what's next? Well, we're on the Raw after the biggest show of the year, and Cena is quite clearly deflated, and this is reflective in his promo as he says, "At WrestleMania, I failed to beat the record, to beat Gunther. But that won't stop me. My losses haven't stopped me before, and they certainly won't now. So I need to rebound, and I have a perfect way as to how I can do just that." Let's make tonight's special. The Raw after WrestleMania presents the John Cena Open Challenge. If you want some, come get some. Answering the call is none other than the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, and his style of offense completely overwhelms a clearly not 100% John Cena throughout large sections of the match, although all it takes is for one counter by John for him to mount his signature comeback offense. Then with a subsequent AA, John picks up the win. Cena bounces back after the heartbreaking loss, but Pete Dunne doesn't accept his loss with stride as he blindsides the leader of the C Nation following the contest. It's a disgraceful act by Dunne, but then Tyler Bate is back, and he immediately stops Dunne from laying into Cena any further, and they start arguing up the ramp and eventually backstage, which leaves John battered and bruised in the ring until Who is next to take me on at spring break? Because Trick is done. Who else is man enough, huh? Who's it gonna be? Cena is on NXT, and he's here for one simple reason: to test himself against the best NXT has to offer. He wants to rebound, although it's an added bonus that if he wins the NXT Championship, that counts as number 17. But before he can even say a word, he gets interrupted by none other than CM Punk, who says, "Look, John, with us both being on our last runs, and with us being on the same brand, it pains me to see you like the way you were last week. Utterly defeated, facing off against people who haven't even challenged for an actual WWE title. You're at the end of your career, John, and that's what you're doing? And now you're facing off against the NXT champion in a pathetic attempt to reach number 17? I can't let this be the end of your run, John. So at Backlash, Pete Dunne has just blindsided CM Punk. He won't allow Punk to say that about him, but Tyler comes out and pushes him away, and with the two men arguing to the back once again, John says, "So what were you gonna say about Backlash?" Yep, at Backlash, John, I've already sanctioned this, by the way, so it'll be you versus me, with the added stipulation that the loser can't challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship for the rest of the year. So if you can't come back from your loss at WrestleMania, then you suffer the consequences. Oh, and on Monday, I'll sort out that British piece of crap, so it'll be a fair one-on-one match between you and me at Backlash. It's a humongous match announced on NXT, but that's not all, as Cena replies, "Yeah, that sounds good, Punk, but who knows? I may be NXT champion by the time that comes around, because I accept your challenge, Oba. Next week, you versus me." It's yet another huge announcement made on NXT. Oba Femi will have his first title defense against none other than John Cena. But before then, Cena is on Raw and asks Adam Pearce for a rematch with Pete Dunne after the assault last week, but so does Punk. Therefore, he announces that in the main event, New Catch Republic will take on John Cena and CM Punk. It's one hell of a dream team, but there's an age-old question everyone ponders. Can they coexist? And that doesn't just apply to Punk and Cena, as there is turmoil with New Catch Republic, as where Tyler is respectful to the legends and wrestles as such, Pete doesn't care. He'll do whatever it takes for the win, and that turmoil is what costs them the match, as when they're arguing, Punk knocks Tyler off the apron before clocking Dunne with a GTS. The dynamic duo pick up the win, but although there's respect between the two, there's animosity, with Cena mouthing off, "At Backlash, my retirement tour will bounce back by beating you. And don't worry, Phil, I won't go easy. You'll be getting the best this John Cena has to offer." Good. Punk picks Cena up, but John manages to get out of harm's way before connecting an AA onto Punk. Will this be the scene at Backlash, or will Punk ruin Cena's dreams? Well, before we find out, we're at spring break and it's main event time. Can John Cena become a 17-time WWE champion in the most unexpected way possible? Or will Oba be too much for him to handle? Well, the match is on, and after only 1 minute of action, John manages to connect an AA. He's looking to end the match early, but Oba kicks out at 1. Cena is flabbergasted, however he knows he needs more, so he hits another, but Oba kicks out again. Then he looks for a third, but Oba counters with stiff elbows to the skull. Then he starts to dominate. He hits huge power moves left, right and centre, but as John gets up, Oba runs at him, although he gets caught and is impressively hoisted up by John as he connects a third AA. Yet 3 won't do the trick, so he calls for him to get up for one more, although Oba quickly hits a powerbomb out of nowhere. Oba has done it. He has retained the NXT Championship, and his first retention is against John Cena. It's one hell of an accomplishment, although CM Punk doesn't think so. As with Oba Femi celebrating, Punk stands over the corpse of his Backlash opponent. So will this be the scene at Backlash, with Punk standing tall over Big Match John, or can John have the opportunity to finish his story? Well, we're at the show, and it closes with Big Match John against Straight Edge Phil. Who will win? Well, the match is on and both men are going at it like they're back in 2011. Neither man will yield. Cena even manages to connect an AA, but that doesn't do the job. Punk even retaliates later in the match with a GTS, but similarly, John doesn't give up. And after 15 minutes, we're reaching the dying stages of the match, and Punk is on top as he manages to take John down and apply it on a cut of ice. He's trying to force John to give up the opportunity to become a 17-time WWE champion, but like always, that doesn't happen. Cena fights out of it. Then he manages to transition into an STF. Now it's his turn to try and make Punk tap, and unlike the Straight Edge Savior, he can make him tap. Cena wins. His chances at becoming WWE Champion stay alive, which is amplified by the fact that after the grueling war, Cena declares his place in the King of the Ring tournament. He's one step closer to accomplishing his goals. It's a humongous announcement to make to send the fans home happy, but can John become king? Well, on the following Raw, Cena starts the tournament off on the right foot, as after a phenomenal back and forth match between himself and Pete Dunne, John Cena manages to catch Dunne and ultimately plant him with a picture perfect AA to advance to the quarterfinals. But who will he face? Well, the following week, he has to take on none other than Ilya Dragunov. It's a fascinating style of clashes, but it turns out to be arguably the TV match of the year. It's everything you'd expect, if not more, from the caliber of the two warriors in the ring. Although in the end, after 20 minutes of pure utter brilliance, Cena manages to plant Ilya with an AA to advance to the semi-finals. Although his future opponent doesn't allow for him to celebrate, as Bronson Reed nails a tsunami onto him to close the show. But who will win in the semi-finals? Who will go on to face either Kevin Owens or Shinsuke Nakamura at King and Queen of the Ring? Well, the match is underway, but it's very clear John isn't in a good way. He's nowhere near 100%. He's getting absolutely demolished by Big Bronson Reed. But like always, he never gives up. He even manages to connect an AA later in the match, although Bronson stays in the fight. So John gets an idea. He sends him to the outside, redecorates the announcer's table, then plants Bronson through it with another AA. Yet Bronson won't stay down, as John can't keep him down for the free. So he has to take the ultimate risk, as he hoists Bronson up and plants him with a super AA off the middle rope. Cena has done it. He's reached the finals. He's one step closer to getting a crack at the World Championship for potentially the last time. But who will he have to face in the finals? Well, we're at the show, and John is waiting for his opponent. Kevin Owens is the last step for John Cena to overcome. Another past rival coming for one last dance. But who can win? Who can punch their ticket to face either world champion at SummerSlam? Well, the match is on, and Cena is giving it his all. He's busting out moves like it's 2015 all over again. But Kevin is still ruthless, and he stays on John throughout the entire contest. And that velocity of attacks is what overwhelms John, as Kevin manages to hit an A from Powerbomb to Big Match John as well. The leader of C Nation is done, and Owens knows it, as he tosses John into the ring, then just plays to the crowd. But then Cena rolls him up. 1, 2, no! Owens stays in the match, but he could be done for, as John manages to pick him up, although Cena inadvertently bumps into the referee. And as soon as this happens, his back gives out, just like at WrestleMania. And Owens takes full advantage, as he has a disgusting low blow onto John Cena. He's done, but then... Randy Orton equalizes the playing field, but why? Well, no one knows, but what everyone does know is that Cena has a chance, as he drapes his arm over Kevin, and with the referee getting back into the ring, the match reaches its conclusion. 1, 2, no! Owens won't allow for John to win like that, but as both men slowly rise to their feet, John uses all of his strength to connect the AA. John Cena has won. He is now king, and it was all thanks to the Viper, the WWE champion on SmackDown, Randy Orton. But which champion will John Cena choose to face? Well, on the following Raw, it's looking like Cena may give his decision until...
You Don't want none.
Look, John, me and you, we go way back, but that's not why I'm out here, because I wasn't even in the King of the Ring tournament. I've been busting my ass for this company, even when you left. I beat you God knows how many times, yet I didn't get a shot. You did. And I can understand why, but I don't think you would be the king right now if I was in the tournament. And John quickly rebuttals, okay then, 1 year on since you quit, I'll make you do that once again, because I want to take you up on that challenge, and I'll even add an extra step, which is something my opponents have loved to do in this run. If you beat me, you get a World Championship match. I'm sure Adam Pearce will be okay with it, especially seeing as my choice at SummerSlam isn't Gunther. And it sure as hell isn't Oba Femi, as I already lost to both men, and they proved they were better. I don't need no one to dump on them legacy-defining wins, but one man I can dunk on, who can take an L and be fine at least, is Randy Orton. It's gonna be you against me, one more time, at SummerSlam. John Cena has just dropped 2 massive bombshells all in the span of minutes, but AJ quickly responds, hey, it's all good and everything you facing Randy, but I'm your focus right now, not him, because at Clash at the Castle, I will be the next challenger for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's a tense stare down between one of Cena's most memorable rivals, but they don't come to blows. They have enough respect to refrain from unnecessary violence. But the following week, there's no more words, just actions, as John Cena has to warm up against someone of AJ's choice, and it turns out to be a phenomenal choice at that. Grayson Waller is looking for some revenge on John Cena for the A delivered to him at Money in the Bank 2 years ago, and he's taking full advantage of this opportunity. He's using his agility and speed to take control of the match, but as always, John fights back. But this brings out Austin Theory, although he can't make it to the ring as AJ Styles runs him off. He wants this to be a fair warm-up, and with an AA to Waller, Cena picks up the win. He gets the momentum behind his back before his more than likely phenomenal altercation with AJ Styles at Clash at the Castle. But will that momentum be enough for him to pick up the win? Well, we're at Clash, and both men are giving it their all. They're holding nothing back. They both want to prove that they are better than the other. But Styles does the one thing you never should try unless your name is Gunther. He tries to make Cena tap. And of course, John doesn't do that. He fights out, and he even manages to connect with an AA out the Styles, although that doesn't do the trick. So he goes for an STF, but Styles pushes him away. Then he looks for a Styles Clash, but Cena counters that. It's an incredible back and forth, and John continues this as he looks for another AA, yet Styles gets out of it, then puts him down with a picture-perfect Pele kick. Then Styles goes to the apron. He's wanting a phenomenal forearm, but as he leaps off, Cena catches him and connects with an AA. But to ensure the job is done, he rolls through and connects a third before finally going into the cover. Cena has won. He overcomes another former past rival, yet Cena's night isn't done with just the victory, as the WWE Champion Randy Orton confronts the leader of the C Nation. Another past rival who we find out will be John Cena's last. At SummerSlam, win or lose Randy, I will retire for good. This is my last chance, and I couldn't think of going out against anyone better than my best rival. It's an emotional moment for everyone watching, aside from Randy Orton, who decks Cena with the championship. It's completely uncalled for, but Orton doesn't care, as he follows through with an RKO. But before he can dish out any more damage, another rival of Cena's past makes his presence felt. Here comes Seth Rollins. He's seen enough, and he runs off Randy, although it's not for the reasons you'd expect. Did you really think I wasn't going to put my hat in John Cena's retirement tour? After all, I made John Cena into a good wrestler after being the champ who ran the camp for a decade. So this is my challenge to you, Mr. Big Match John. You versus me, Money in the Bank. No stipulations, no nothing. I just want to humiliate you before you move to SmackDown and end your illustrious career. And I guess I can't see you because you're supposed to be out here accepting my challenge by now. It's not John Cena, but the star power is just as strong. The OTC is here, but where is Cena? Well, after the promo exchange between the two former Shield members, we find out as he bursts through the crowd and drags Seth out of the ring before engaging in a wild brawl with the Visionary, and Roman just watches as the action unfolds, which concludes when Rollins gets AA'd through the announcer's table, and Cena then stares down at Rollins as he says, "You're on." But as he walks away, Roman comes out of nowhere and completely obliterates John with a spear. The message has been sent by the tribal chief as he says, "You're part of the reason I lost my title, so count me in." Roman leaves the corpses behind, but who will stand tall at Money in the Bank? Well, we're at the show, and Cena, Reigns and Rollins are competing like their lives depend on it. Cena wants momentum for his last match, Reigns wants revenge on Cena and Rollins wants to prove that he is better than both men. And after a stunning 20 minutes of action, the match reaches its conclusion, as the final act starts with Roman looking for a spear onto Seth, although he moves out of harm's way, which ends up terribly for Cena, as he gets speared, with Rollins throwing Reigns out the ring to steal the pin. 1, 2, no! Cena stays alive, but Rollins stays on the offensive as he looks for a curb stomp, but Reigns drags him out the ring and connects a Superman punch. Then he goes into the ring, lines up Cena for a spear, but he can't connect it as Cena counters and he locks in an STF. Reigns has nowhere to go. Will he tap or can he get out of the hold? Well, he gets out of it only because of Seth Rollins, who breaks it up before connecting a buckle bomb onto Big Match John. Then he signals for a stomp. There's no one else in his way aside from a dangerous Viper. Randy Orton has once again handed Cena the victory with a silver platter, and although he doesn't want it, he's forced to take it as he connects an AA to win the match. It's a frustrating end for John, who looks at his last dance partner, and it's frustrating for Roman Reigns, who never got pinned. But now that Cena is on SmackDown, he wants to test the field of new talent he can face. So of course, he issues an open challenge, although before anyone answers, Randy Orton comes out. Why is he here? Well, it's simply to warn John Cena. John, at SummerSlam, your career ends, and I don't want any excuse when I beat you. That's why I gave you the win at Money in the Bank, and I gave you the win at King of the Ring, because I knew you'd choose me. So do another challenge, do 100 for all I care, but I will make sure you win every single one, and I will make sure that you are at 100%, because at SummerSlam, you'll have all the momentum in the world, which will be when I take your last hope and ruin your retirement tour, and it'll be even sweeter when you're at 100%. That's why I could attack you at Clash, because I knew you'd recover in time. And now, your destiny and your fate now lies in my hands. Or should I say, I am. Randy warns John, but before John can even respond, Carmelo Hayes comes out of nowhere and beats down Cena. He wants to make a name for himself, and Orton actually comes to the save for a SummerSlam opponent. He meant every word he said. He won't have John be at any less than 100% in every department, although Nick Gauntlet decides that after the attack by Melo, that Cena will face Carmelo Hayes in the next SmackDown's main event, with Randy being barred from the building, so then there's a definitive winner. And the matchup was an absolute banger. Both men's chemistry with one another is off the charts. Cena has the strength and experience, whereas Melo has the speed and agility. Hayes even looks for his own AA to rub insult to injury, but Cena gets out of it, then looks for one of his own, but similarly Carmelo Hayes gets out of it. Then he sends Cena out the ring before diving onto the King, and once he sends Cena back into the ring, he climbs to the top rope. He's looking for nothing but net, but he can't connect it as Cena counters into a powerbomb. Then he locks in an STF, although Melo almost instantly gets out of it, then tries to roll him up, although that doesn't do the trick either. Then as both men get to their feet, Cena finally manages to connect the AA. Big Match John wins, although his celebration is cut short through a dangerous Viper stalking his prey. But he doesn't attack, he just simply observes, which is something he can't do at SummerSlam. But before then, it's time for the go-home show before the biggest party of the summer can commence. And John Cena closes the show with Randy Orton as they reflect upon their history. There's nothing but respect between the two men, although Cena closes out the segment by saying, "After 23 years, my career in the WWE as a professional wrestler ends with you in the main event of SummerSlam. For the last time, you against me, our 19-year history comes to an end. And at the end, you won't be able to see me." And that's for Clash at the Castle. Cena stands tall, but will this be the case at his last match? The last time is now, and it's a signature John Cena vs Randy Orton match. They run back all the classics, although by the third act of the match, things severely ramp up, as Cena looks for an AA, but as per usual his opponent evades, but then Orton looks for an RKO, but Cena avoids that, then Cena grabs him and then locks in the STF. Will this be the way he wins his final match? No! Randy gets out of it. Then as both men get to their feet, Randy hoists Cena out into the ropes and connects his signature DDT. Then he starts to stalk his opponent, and this time he's going to strike, but Cena counters again. Then he looks for a roll-up. Will Cena win just like that? 1, 2, no! Orton kicks out, however as both men get to their feet again, Cena looks for an AA, but Orton counters into an RKO. Is Cena done? No! Cena survives, but Orton is furious, yet in the madness, he gets an idea. He goes into the corner. He's looking for a punt, but Cena gets out of dodge and finally connects with an AA, but he took himself out. And Orton's ring awareness breaks everyone's hearts as he rolls to the outside. So Cena puts him back into the ring. Then he climbs to the top rope and then unbelievably hits a mega 5-knuckle shuffle. Then he calls for the Viper to get to his feet. He needs one more AA. But as he looks for it, he gets an idea. He goes to the top rope. He's looking for the Super AA. But Randy counters, and with Cena stunned, Orton connects an Avalanche RKO. Is John Cena done? Is his career over with no number 17? 1. No! Cena with the heart of a god kicks out at 1. Orton is beside himself, so he looks for another RKO, but Cena counters and hits a shoulder block. Then he hits another, and with a spinning back suplex heard all around the world, Cena hits one last 5-knuckle shuffle. Then he puts Orton into the corner, puts him on the top rope, and connects the Avalanche AA. Can he do it? Can he win one last time? 1, 2, 3. Cena has done it. He has won the WWE Championship. It's a heartwarming moment. Everyone loves this. Cena has become a 17-time WWE Champion. He can bow out on a win, although Mr. Money in the Bank has other ideas. It's one of the most disgraceful acts ever performed by a wrestler. Chad Gable has ruined John Cena's last match, and with the new match underway, and with Cena out on his feet, Gable screams, "Ruthless aggression." Then he smacks Cena just like the leader of the Nation did to Kurt Angle all those years ago in his debut. But Cena is done. He has nothing left. And Gable, in a purely evil moment, hits him with an Angle slam. Is John done? No! Cena keeps going. He won't end his career like this. Although that isn't his choice to make. As Gable locks in an ankle lock onto the wall out Cena. He wants to make Cena tap. But he won't. He doesn't tap. He never taps. Until tonight. Chad Gable has won. He is World Heavyweight Champion, and Cena's career is now officially over. But he did everything he set out to do. He became Grand Slam Champion. He even won the Royal Rumble. And after becoming King of the Ring for the first time, he was, at least for 5 minutes, a WWE Champion one last time, making him a 17-time WWE Champ. And even though he ended the night as a loser, Cena puts his career to rest as he has now solidified that he is the greatest of all time. John Cena's time is up, and Chad Gable's time is now.